Okay, let's go on and check Tuesday's math warm-up. Again, we keep doing this because we want to keep those skills and standards fresh in our mind because we will need them as we get ready for 4th grade materials. And we are starting some 4th grade standards this week. So you've got to be sure that you understand those 3rd grade standards before we move on. So we're going to keep doing these warm-ups just to keep everything fresh. Okay? All right, so let's look at the first one. 6,498 plus 3,876. Again, always make sure you have your numbers lined up according to where they are on the place value chart. Start in your ones place. 8 plus 6, 14. Put your 4 down, carry your 1. 7 plus 9 is 16, plus 1 is 17. Put that 7 down, carry your 1 to the next place. 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Put your 3 down, carry your 1. 3 plus 6 is 9, plus 1 more is 10. Now I have some confusion of where to put these commas, okay? So always remember to just count over according to your place value chart, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. There's your comma. So 10,374. 10,374 is the answer to the first one. Okay, and don't just copy the answer down, please. You need to have this worked out on the back or on a scratch sheet of paper. So when you do tomorrow's and maybe you have forgotten something, you'll have that example to look at. You could also write these in your math journal and keep it neat for examples. Okay. All right, the next one, 4,562 minus 3,776. Evaluate that problem. Notice that you're going to have to do some borrowing and regrouping. Okay. By this point, that's pretty much the only subtraction we're doing now. Everything else should just be basic subtraction. You need to be practicing this at home. Okay. Can't do it, but I can borrow. And I can regroup. 12 minus 6 is 6. I can't do it, but I can borrow. Okay. 15 minus 7 is 8. Can't do it, but I can borrow. 14 minus 7 is 7. 3 minus 3 is 0. So my difference is 786. 786. Make sure that you're practicing borrowing and regrouping with your subtraction every single night. The more you practice, the better you're going to get at it. Mel baked 37 cookies and gave some away. Now she has 21 cookies left. How many did she give away? So 37 minus something is going to give me 21. Okay, all different ways that you could do this. The easiest way for me would just kind of be to think backwards. Let's do 37 minus the total amount that we have left. 7 minus 1 is 6. 3 minus 2 is 1. So that means she had to give, she gave away 16 cookies. Cookies. Okay. If you want to go check, do 37 minus 16 and you should get 21. 7 minus 6 is 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. So that's going to work out just fine. And there's different ways you could have gotten to that. I'm just showing you the easiest. For me, you may see it a different way. As long as you get an answer of 16 cookies, I'm good with that. We're all about teaching these different strategies, and you pick the one that's easiest for you. Okay, you've got 11 times 10. Basic fact is 11 times 1. Think about the little trick with zeros. 110. Okay. All right, we got some long division. Dad, mom, sister, brother, rover, or repeat. So divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, remainder, or repeat. Don't forget the steps in your division problems. Okay? Dividend is 99. That's the number we're going to break apart. 8 is your divisor. That's what we're using to break this number apart. Easiest way for me, I have found, to do this, until I get used to doing long division, is to write these multiples of 8 down. Oops, excuse me, that should be a 40. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times 9. And you could keep going. Okay. All right, always start with the first digit in your dividend. Is there any number I can skip count by over here to get very, very close to 9 without going over it? Okay. And if you look at your multiples, yeah, I can go to 8. Well, how many times did we skip count to get to that? Only one time. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that over the first digit in our dividend. That's our dividing step. We're breaking apart that 9. Now you're going to multiply. 1 times 8 is 8. Now you're going to subtract. 9 minus 8 is 1. Now look at here. I've got to bring down. I'm at brother. Okay. Now I got to repeat. How many times will 8 go into 19 without going over the number 19? Look at what you wrote down on the side. I can see that 16 gets pretty darn close to 19. 24 is going to be too much. Okay? So, if I skip count by 8 2 times, I'm going to get close to that number 19. Now let's multiply back. Okay? 2 times 8, we know, is 16. Now we're going to subtract. 9 minus 6 is 3. We're going to see if we have any numbers in my dividend I need to bring down, and there's nothing there to bring down. I want to make sure before I write this down as my remainder that this remainder has to be smaller than my divisor, and 3 is smaller than 8. So my answer would be 12 remainder 3. 12 remainder 3. And always remember that the way you check a division problem is to multiply. So let's do 12 times 8. Okay. That would be 16 carrier 1, so that would be 96. Now, 96 does not match 99, but I had this remainder, so we have to add that remainder in. Okay? 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus nothing is 9. Now, this matches your dividend. All numbers are accounted for. We are correct. Okay? The thing that makes this long division easier when you're first starting is to write these multiples out. Let's look at the next one. 12 times 2 equals blank times 12. Oh my goodness, that's just the commutative property of multiplication. They just flip-flop those factors around. 12 times 2 equals 2 times 12. 12 times 2 is 24, and 2 times 12 is 24. What fraction of the triangle is shaded? 2 halves, because I can see that this triangle is divided into 2 equal parts, and both of them are shaded, and we know that 2 halves is the same thing as 1 whole, because 2 divided by 2 is 1. Okay. All right, what am I? Give me 2 names. Look at the angles. Of course, it's an acute triangle. Because of the angles. Okay, and then we could also call it, it's not an equilateral triangle because all the sides are not the same. It's not scalene because all the sides are not different. So this has got to be an isosceles triangle. Acute triangle, isosceles triangle. Okay. Next one says how many feet are in 10 yards? Well, you got to know how many feet are in 1 yard first of all. Then you can figure out the pattern. 1 yard equals 3 feet. So 2 yards would equal 6 feet. 3 yards would be 9 feet. What if I had 5 yards? Well, I can see that I'm multiplying every number times 3, so that would be 15 feet. What if I had 7 yards? That would be 21 feet. And if you kept on going to 10 yards, you get 30 feet. Okay? How many feet are in 1 yard, or excuse me, 10 yards, 30 feet. 30 feet. Give you a second to copy that down. Okay, go on and pass that to the front. I also want to go over a couple of things on your homework because I want y'all to have these good grades for the last couple of weeks of school. Some of y'all need to bump up your grades or your averages. And one way to do this, I've been doing this for several weeks now, really about 3 months. I've been giving out these homework sheets. And these homework sheets, you work them, you give them to somebody to check, and then if you miss it, people, go correct it. Let them check it again. You're not doing anything wrong by that. You're actually following my directions by letting them check it. If you get it wrong again, fix it. Let them check it again. Do that process over and over and over until you think your paper is 100% correct. Okay? For the last 3 months, you should have had every week a 100 in the grade book for your homework grades. There is no excuse. If mamas and daddies checked it, okay, then you got it right. Okay? Let's go down to number 9. Solve the following problems with an array and repeated subtraction. So there is no excuse for you to get this wrong. We're fixing to do it right here together. I don't want you to forget how to do this stuff. Sometimes when you don't use it, you kind of lose it. So let's not lose it. Okay? All right, we have the problem 49 divided by 7, and we're not sure what our answer is. One way that we can solve this is to do an array. Okay, so if you need to do this on the back, do it. That's fine with me. Okay, I'm going to go on and do 7 rows, and I like to draw my rows. It just kind of gives me a guide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm just going to divide out 49 between those rows. I'm at 14. Now I'm at 21. Now I'm at 28. Now I'm at 35. 42. 49. Okay? And to get your quotient, all you got to do is count how many is on each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Check yourself. 7 times 7 is 49. Okay? So that is one way to show 49 divided by 7. Another way is to do repeated subtraction. So we're going to take our dividend and we're going to subtract our divisor over and over and over until we get to 0. This is repeated subtraction. Okay? And just do that over and over until you can't do it anymore. Just kind of going slow so you can follow me. Okay, can't do any more. Then go back and check how many times you subtracted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 49 divided by 7 is 7. I've got 2 models that prove that my answer is correct. And if you want to do this on the back of your paper, that's fine, but I'm going to be looking for it. And I'll leave this up for just a second so you can make sure that you have this copied. Okay. All right. The last thing that I want to do with you is let's do number 12. We'll do number 12 and number 13 because that's pretty much what we're working on this week. All right, so let's look at number 12, and I do want you to use the box method or the distributive property because that's how we're learning it this week. So if I have 392 times 7, I know that I can break that number 392 apart into 3 digits. I can use place value understanding to break it apart, so I would have 300 plus 90 plus 2. This has only got 1 digit, so that's just a 7. Find a basic fact. You're going to multiply every one of these numbers times 7. 3 times 7 is 21. 2 extra zeros. Think about these tricks. 7 times 9, is 63 with that 1 0. 7 times 2 is 14. Because this is the distributive property by that break apart method, you know you have to go add those numbers together. 2,100, 630, and 14. That would be 4, 4, 7, 2. So my answer would be 2,744. And that's number 12. So you're probably going to have to work most of these out on a scratch sheet of paper. And I need that scratch sheet of paper stapled together. Okay? All right, now let's look at number 13. You have 200 times 80. Because this one is multiples of 10, you don't necessarily have to use the box method with this one. Use the tricks that you know. 2 times 80 is 160. Because 2 times 8 is 16, then you've got your 0. But don't forget this trick. Okay? Now, count over ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. So the answer to number 13 is 16,000. All right, so you should be able to do all the rest of them on your own. Don't forget area and perimeter. Area you're multiplying, perimeter you're adding. We did both parts of number 9. We did 12 and 13 together. You should remember how to round to the hundreds place. And don't forget when you're subtracting to borrow and regroup. Okay? All right. And that is it for Tuesday.